The single-handed backhand lob. We divide it into 4 stages: the setting up stage, the landing stage, the contact point, tracking and follow through. Split step turn, and I lift it over the net. Remember when to use this. This is a great weapon to use when somebody is too close to net. It's great in doubles just to disrupt 2 people who are coming into net. If their approach shot is a bit slow and loopy, it's very easy to lob. It is a great shot to use when somebody does not split step. Here you see me split stepping, I'm turning, notice I'm coiling, and now I go into my 3-point landing where you see my racket really getting underneath the ball and lifting the ball high up over the net. Remember, I want to hit the ball at least 30 feet over the net. Here's a split step, coil. When do I split step? A great time to split step is just before your opponent hits the ball. Every single shot in tennis, except for your serve, you want to split step just before your opponent hits the ball. It's a great way of getting your body moving and forcing your mind to decide which side to go. Here you see the lob, where you see how high I'm hitting it over the net. Look how my head hasn't moved. My head is still looking at the contact point that I hit the shot. So I'm actually disguising where my ball's going. I've got my weight going forward. Everybody thinks I'm still hitting a drive. Okay, the setting up stage. We have our ready position, our split step, the grip change, pivot. All is awesome. Okay, split step, look at my hands in front of my body. Split step turn, I do the grip change, I straighten my right arm to eliminate any injuries due to tennis elbow. I have my left elbow elevated to close my racket face a bit. But remember, on the single-handed backhand lob, the racket face is not as closed as normal. So you'll notice that you'll be seeing a little bit of the edge of the racket and the front of the strings and not the racket closing so you can't see the back. I'm still showing a little bit of my back to my opponent. Here's a split step turn. I'm still coiling. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Remember there's the time buffer, the pause. Very often we're going to be lobbing with a slower ball, with an elevated high looping ball. So we will have time to get ready. We'll have a longer pause. And then we've got to make sure that the racket really gets underneath the ball. Remember, a topspin lob is more of an offensive weapon. So we want to get as much topspin as we can. The ball must be curving over the person's head and landing. Okay, landing. Not the ball landing, but the body landing, the right foot stepping in, and at the same time the racket's dropping. So it's a 3-point landing because all 3 things happen at the same time. One of the things you'll notice though is the racket is landing but on edge, not the strings facing down. So that will help me on contact where my racket face will be facing a little bit more elevated so I can get that 30 feet over the net. Remember that court is 3 times longer than it's wide, so the swing must still follow and track the ball. I must keep the swing in the same shape as the court. Now notice I'm bending my knees now. I get underneath the ball, at least a foot underneath the ball, and I brush up at least 30 to 40 feet over Joanna's head. The contact point. The contact point is the racket face is slightly open, the hand is parallel to the racket face, and I'm really having a steep swing path up. I'm really coming from really below the ball. You'll look carefully, you'll see my wrist is firm on contact. I'm not really bending my right elbow, my arm is straight, and my left arm is pointing to my back foot. Notice that the ball is dropping behind Johanna and it's landing in the court. So remember, very often as the ball goes over somebody's head, they must be falling into the court. Okay, stage 4, tracking and follow through. It still must have a steep swing path, must finish on the same side of the body, and my head must remain still and I must stay balanced. Watch carefully how this racket brushes up the back of the ball, and I have a high follow through. Really try and have the racket accelerating through as fast as possible if you're doing a topspin, because remember, a lot of the swing speed is going to go into the swing of the ball. If you're hitting a little bit flatter, then you have to be a little bit more cautious. Remember, a lob is a great offensive weapon, great in doubles and singles, especially if somebody's coming to net.